When it comes to eating for calisthenics or any relative based strength fitness program, we need to embrace our inner Goldilocks. No, I'm not talking about growing out long blonde hair or her crazy home invasion skills. No, I'm talking about her ability to test and find that sweet spot between many different variables. Now, Goldilocks had beds and porridge, and while they're kind of valid, what are the actual factors we need to consider when eating for calisthenics? Let's go through three specific factors that I think are the most important for us to focus on. The first factor we need to look into is muscle building and being light. And when I'm talking about being light, I'm talking about having a low body weight or having less fat on our body in general, as this is what is going to force gravity upon us and make skills like pull ups, front levers, push ups, etc., much more difficult. It's like me giving you a 50-pound dumbbell and saying to curl it, but me a 20-pound and seeing who can do more. In general, if you are lighter, you'll have an easier time at the start to progress. Now, what exactly do we need to balance in this equation? And the answer to that is putting on more weight might make some skills significantly easier to do, specifically if you're looking to do weighted calisthenics. If we look at the world record holders for dips and pull ups, they're generally over 200 pounds. It goes back to the old equation of mass moves mass. Strongmen and powerlifters tend to be a lot heavier with the heavier weights they're lifting than, 150 pounds like most calisthenics people. So, if you're looking at your goals and you want to do a heavy pull up or heavy dip, and you're not as interested in doing maybe a lot of pull ups or just a front lever hold, it might make sense to add on more mass and be a little bit heavier. Now, let's move on to factor number two, which is recovery. Now, Goldilocks is definitely on the right track here with testing different beds, but food definitely has a major impact on our recovery. If we're eating, too much food and you just want to do front levers, then that might be weighing you down. But at the same point, if you're out there grinding out and doing a bunch of pull ups because you want to do high volume of that, or you want to do weighted pull-ups and you definitely are going with a more bodybuilder or any aesthetic looking approach, you'll definitely want to be consuming enough calories to replenish all of those that you're burning off and keep those muscles that are craving energy going. Now, the third factor we need to look into is fun and health sustainability. This is probably the most critical one, but what exactly do I mean by that? Well, from the health side, we're obviously looking at having healthy foods, enough protein, we're having healthy fats, vegetables, everything your mom wanted you to have when you were a kid. But the problem is, doing that for long periods of time can kind of wear on you. You start craving other foods. So there's the fun aspect. How many cheat meals can you have a week? Do you need a cheat day? Maybe there's some healthy foods that you really enjoy and you can have consistently. These are major factors that we need to consider so we don't fall off the track one way or the other, either restricting ourselves too much or not restricting ourselves enough. Now, let's look into what a typical non cheat meal day looks like for me. I order it in a very particular order, which allows me to take advantage of eating healthy foods in a particular way, which doesn't feel restrictive to me. Let's see if any of these eating hacks can be used into your eating routine. Now, I've also included a look into my workout for the day so you can see how what I'm eating will be used for that workout and how I eat afterwards to recover from it. Let's go. All right, so first thing that happens is I wake up to a sun alarm clock because honestly, waking up to the iPhone alarm clock is one of the most jarring and triggering experiences out there. Yeah, hopefully I didn't trigger any of you right there. Now, from here, I move on to breakfast, which for me is not too exciting. It's just a water bottle. I go full thing just to stay hydrated. I'm honestly not very hungry in the morning, so just getting hydrated and going out for a nice walk in the morning to get some steps in really sets me up for the day. Now, at this point, I start to get pretty hungry around roughly 10 o'clock. So that's when snack number one comes in. And honestly, I usually feel like a kid at Christmas during this time. I'll have a very simple but healthy meal. I'll do almonds, a protein bar, some beetroot supplement to help with the blood pressure, and some carrots. Very simple, but honestly, I get way too excited and way too happy to eat this because honestly, I'm pretty hungry at this point, but it also just hits the spot. All right, now we move into lunch, which is one of my other favorite meals of the day because usually this is a cheat meal. But today, I'm just doing my traditional healthy lunchtime meal, which is breakfast for lunch. I go with a 3 egg omelet, add in some spinach, and then flip it over. Once it's cooking, then I'll add some cheese to it. And then I'll throw in some sourdough toast or bagels if it's a Sunday or Monday and I get them fresh from the grocery store, and then I finish it with a banana because I like to have the potassium to balance out the sodium in my diet. And from there, I have a nice, well rounded breakfast for lunch that gives me energy and keeps me going. And also is not too shabby of a meal when I'm not having a cheat day. And now we go into my pre workout meal, which is shrimp and clementines. I know, a very odd combination, but it really does hit the spot. It's just some simple protein and some simple carbs added together, easy to digest, and sets me up ready for my workout. And honestly, I really like clementines, so I don't really mind it that much. Then I'll also add in some creatine monohydrate right as I'm leaving, and I'm set up and ready to go for my workout. I'm focusing specifically right now on front lever holds and one armed pull ups. So, right off the bat, we're starting off with a general warm up and something to activate my lats. I'll then move into my front levers first, which are my more complex movements, and do 2 sets of holds here. I'll then transition into warming up my one arm pull up with 2 sets of one armed alternating assisted pull ups. I will then go into an every minute on the minute one arm pull up EMOM. After that, I will then do 2 sets on each arm of assisted one arm pull ups. I will then do a one leg front lever hold on both sides. Then from there, I will do a one arm dead hang. And then topping it off, I am then doing some ab work and some TRX rows just to add some additional volume to my back to keep it strong and healthy. Now that I've completely destroyed myself, we move into my post workout meal. Now, because at this point it's been about 4 hours since my last meal, I definitely want to get some protein and some simple carbs working in my system as quickly as possible. So, my meal of choice here is a protein shake and a banana. I get roughly 30 grams of protein, and the banana will start kicking in immediately. And I'm honestly very tided over until I can shower fully and then get my dinner prepped. I then move into the last meal of the day, which this time I had to meal prep, and I go with salmon, which is my favorite protein by far. There's something about the fat and the protein to it and the butteriness that really satisfies me. So I like to have that consistent meal at the end of the day to always look forward to. I have a half bag of rice with it as well. And for me, I'll do about 4, maybe 3 times a week. I will have this meal, and I look forward to it every single time. Having those reliable, healthy meals is definitely a key that keeps me going here. And honestly, by the end of the day, I'm full, I'm satisfied with everything I've had, and it's not even a cheat day. And that is what will keep me going in the long run. To recap, just remember that we need to be like Goldilocks and balance 3 different factors: our muscle mass with our weight, how much food we need to appropriately recover, and last but not least, balancing our health and having fun with it too. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below if there's anything that you use in your routine that helps you with your eating, or if there's any future videos you want to see from this channel going forward. Have a good day, y'all.